Hey everyone, welcome to Gentle Yoga. Today we are going to use a chair, a blanket or a towel, and a mat. We're going to start off in a supported heart opening posture. You can take your towel or blanket and we're just going to roll it. And it's going to be a thin roll. If you do have a yoga blanket at home, just fold it in half with the fringes stacked, and then you'll just roll it. And so when you lay down on it, you only want it maybe like an inch and a half high. We're going to lay down so that our shoulders are on the mat, and the roll is basically behind our heart. You'll notice that my arms are clearing the roll, they're just above the roll. Keep your knees bent and your feet on the floor as you come down. And if you get down and you're like, whoa, this is like really intense, or maybe your back starts to hurt, you might need to make your roll a little bit thinner. So the idea is that this towel presses the bottom edge of your shoulder blades into the back of the ribs. It kind of helps flatten out the shoulder blades. You can even kind of walk them a little bit closer together. Tops of my shoulders aren't really touching the floor, but they're moving that direction. Back of the head on the floor. And of course, if for whatever reason, if you have some sort of neck or shoulder injury and this isn't a good fit, just lay flat or find some position that feels comfortable and like a chest broadener. And just settling in. You can close your eyes, taking a few deep breaths here. Each time you exhale, just letting go of anything you don't need. Inviting your body to soften further to the floor so that maybe your low back gets to the floor or a little closer to the floor. Soften your tummy. And again, keep the feet on the mat for just a little bit, knees bent. We want to have this back bend go into the upper trunk, into the chest, rather than the back right now. It's not what we're looking for. And take about 2 more breaths here. Nice, slow, deep breaths. And if you like, you can start to straighten the legs, just see what that feels like. If it causes the low back to feel uncomfortable, then just bend the knees, place the feet back on the floor. And we'll be here for a few more rounds of breath as we just center, checking in with our experience today, just kind of noticing how does your physical form, your muscles, bones, skin, how does it feel right now? Noticing what mood you're in. How do you feel? Noticing what kind of thoughts that you're having. What are you thinking about? And then just coming back to the breath, welcome your entire experience to this practice. Everything is welcome. Welcome. Glad you're here. And then I'd like you to take note of what is touching the earth. What is supporting your body right now? There's no right answer, just noticing. Maybe you feel your heels or your rear touching the floor. One more exhale, surrendering into that support. And then I'd like you to slowly turn your head to the right, nice and slow, slow, just so you can notice what is the sensation you're experiencing. And just turn the head until it feels pleasurable. It feels, it'll be like a perfect place to turn. And you'll just stop, letting the head stay turning to the right. Keep the left shoulder heavy towards the floor. You might start to feel a stretch across the front of the left shoulder, maybe in the neck. Maybe your head doesn't turn completely to the right. Maybe it just leans to the right a little bit. That's fine too. Just enjoying whatever sensation is available to you right now on the left side of the neck, the left shoulder. Good. And then come back through center and very curiously turn your head to the left. Curious about what is the sensation you're experiencing. Where is the perfect place to pause? Continue to keep the shoulder blades flat on the back with the help of this roll. Head turning and then just pause. Enjoying this perfect place to experience sensation in the front of the right shoulder, potentially, maybe the right side of the neck, maybe even down the right arm. You can explore having the palms up or down. What feels healthy for you right now? What feels helpful? About 2 more breaths. Good, and then head comes back through center. Bring the palms together in front of your heart, Anjali Mudra. Exhale completely. Draw your low belly in, and on an inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling and then back behind you. Imagine you're standing on your feet and reaching your arms back behind you. Very strong. Palms will face each other. If you have like one frozen shoulder or both shoulders are frozen, maybe you just reach the arms up and you pause till they can both be symmetrical and reaching in the same direction, right? If you can reach the arms overhead, go ahead and do that. We'll just take one more round of breath in this kind of reclined mountain pose with the arms overhead. One more breath. Good. And then return the hands, palms together in front of your heart. And then we'll roll over to one side and slowly come on up. Let's move on over to the chair. Having a seat away from the back of the chair and bring your hands to your hips. So your forefingers are in the front of your pelvis, your thumbs are on the back of the pelvis. And then let's do some pelvic tilts here. So exhale, roll on to your tailbone, lifting the front of the pelvis towards the face. Inhale, roll the front of the pelvis towards the floor as you kind of stick out your rear. And then just going back and forth. This could be quite a small movement. It doesn't have to be big. Back and forth tilting. So today's class, we're going to work on leg and ankle, foot strength. But there's a few things we're going to do first. I'm going to open up. We're going to see if we can get your shoulders and neck a little bit more mobile before we proceed. And of course, giving the spine a little bit of love, what we're doing right now. Good. And then find a place where the pelvis feels neutral. So it's neither tilted too forward or back. Draw the low belly in. Rest your hands on your thighs. And then you're going to kind of jump rope your spine around. So swing your ribs to the right and then forward and then to the left and then ribs go back. Let's do that a couple more times. Circling the ribs over the hips. Keep the tummy in. And then go the other direction, circling the ribs to the right, towards the back, to the left, and then towards the front. And just kind of go a little slower than you maybe want to go. I find that sometimes I go a little fast to kind of mask tightness in my body. And I just am curious, maybe sometimes if we go a little bit slower, we can see, really explore what parts of the spine move, what parts aren't moving, what feels good. And then come back through center and find that neutral pelvis, low belly pulling in. We'll do a variation of warrior two by stepping our left foot out and right foot is front over the chair. So here we go. Extend your arms left and right and shoulders are over hips, tummies in, lift the sideways so that you're really, really long and then gazing over the middle finger of your left hand. So we were just doing this on the floor. We had the roll underneath our heart. And I'd like you to imagine that the roll is under your heart right now one more time. Double check to see, are your arms parallel to the floor? It's not uncommon to have one arm a little bit lower than the other. And then inhale, lifting your heart vertically, and maybe the head completely turns to the left. Maybe you just turn a little bit to the left. Let's be here for about 3 or 4 more breaths. Really extending through the middle fingers on either hand. Softening the shoulders away from the ears. Last breath. Okay, and then head turns back through center. Step your left foot next to your right. Now bring your right arm underneath your left and either just hold on to the sides of the arms or the shoulders, or if you know eagle arms, you like that, go for it. But I'd like you to hollow your heart. Entering the side view, I'm really rounding my back. And then you're just gonna roll forward. So you can stay seated forward. You can stay in the position you're on in your chair, but you're just gonna roll forward. So releasing the tension in the back body, particularly behind the heart, the place between the shoulder blades. Let your head go, chin to chest. Take one more big breath into your back body. Open the mouth, let it out. And then rolling up. And release. Let's step the right foot out to the right. Warrior two. Second side. Softening the shoulders down a little bit, extending through the middle fingers, tummies in, neutral pelvis, and then head turning to look over middle finger of right hand. And then just check. Sometimes the head wants to kind of jet forward or it's kind of cocked in some direction. What would it be like? You could kind of soften out of it and then come back into it a little bit stronger. We'll be here for about 4 or 5 more breaths. Stay tall in the spine. Energetically, really extending through the arms, left and right. Got that roll behind your heart, helping you open the chest. Got one more breath here. Strong arms. And then step the right foot next to the left. Now we're going to bring our right arm underneath the left. Hold on to the arms or hold on to the shoulders. Maybe come to eagle arms if you like. Rolling down. Let the head go. So we're crossing the opposite arm in front. And so inhaling, Breathing into the upper back, inflating the low back. Exhale out the mouth, let your head go. Relax your eyes. Good, and then roll on up. Release. And seated forward. So let's cross the right thigh over left. So you're sitting cross-legged. This is kind of a variation of eagle pose. You're going to cross your left arm over right. So opposite arm and leg are on top. And then you're just going to once again round. And then let's see, your forearms are on either side of your top knee. And you're just going to round once again. Let the head go. So I'll show you my side view. Rounding, 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 let it go. So because our forearms are crossed and on either side of the top thigh, the shoulder blades are invited to really part and kind of wing out. Let your head go. So as much as it's important, we want to stand up tall and have a strong upper back muscles. Sometimes they're so tight, it's helpful to release them for a little bit before we strengthen. Good, and then slowly roll up. Once again, sitting regular, and then inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, bend the elbows. So arms in like a goalpost shape, cactus arms, and then inhale, reach back up again. Exhale, bend. Okay, we're going to do that a few more times. Pay attention to your feet. Keep them pressing into the floor. The inhale is the reach. The exhale is opening up. Broad chest. Neutral pelvis. Keep going. Let's do about twice more. Good, and then release. You're going to cross your left thigh on top of your right. Right arm crosses over left. And then you're going to round. And as you round over, you slide the arms, the cross of your arms kind of slides up. And you start to wing the shoulder blades, let your head go. Keep pressing into your right foot, into the floor. So this is my favorite thing to do whenever like my upper back feels so tight. Let the head go, soften the face. And take a really intentional breath into your back body. Inflate the upper and lower back as you inhale. Exhale out the mouth. Good, and then roll on up. And sit regular. And okay, let's cross the right thigh over left, right ankle over left thigh. And we'll start to open up that right hip. So sitting nice and tall. And I'd like you to start to roll your right ankle. Start very slow circles. If you're starting to roll your ankle and you're feeling pain in the knee, just keep the right foot flexed, okay? But if it's feeling fine for you, you'll just start to draw circles with that right ankle. And as you do this, I'll get quiet and just pay attention to what's going on in that right leg as you do this, being very curious. And then go the other direction. Where do you feel this in the right thigh, right hip? And then return the foot to a flexed position. And you're welcome to lean forward if you'd like more sensation in the stretch, or stay seated upright. But grab a hold of that right foot. And I'd like you to start palpating the bottom of the foot with your thumb. So feeling around, I'm gonna let you just intuitively go to any place that feels a little tight, feels a little tender. Maybe there's some knots. And I'd like you to, as you're doing this, think of somebody that it's like really easy to love. Someone that you're just, oh, maybe it's your dog, your cat, your child, someone special in your life. You see them and you're just like, oh, I love you so much. And I'd like you to imagine you're massaging their feet or their little paws. You're channeling that kindness into your foot, the same kindness you would extend to that loved one. Okay, and then I'm going to have you thread your fingers between each toe, little yogi toes here. Thread them through. And if you have any feelings about doing this, about touching feet or ever, remember you're touching your loved one's feet, right? So then peel the toes back a little bit too, maybe. Some of you might just find maybe just thread the toes and that's enough to kind of, you want to spread out the metatarsals, you want to spread out the foot. Good. And then we'll release. And right foot next to left. Just notice any difference in that right leg, right foot. Let's do the second side. So left ankle on top of right thigh, sitting nice and tall. And then very curiously, very mindfully, very slow, start to circle that right ankle. Might be tiny circles. Where do you feel this? Where do you feel this in the left leg, the left hip? Go the other direction if you haven't already. And then return the foot to a flexed position. So that means that the toes are peeling back towards the knees. And you're going to take your thumb to the foot and just start to palpate around what area of this foot needs a little love. It's kind of interesting to kind of note the tender areas of your foot. And if you're into this kind of stuff, you could go check out like on a reflexology um, chart, what areas of your foot are tender, kind of interesting things to learn about. We're channeling that kindness through the hands to our foot, just like we would extend some kind gestures to a loved one. Good. And then we'll thread the fingers between the toes. And if you can, peel the toes up. Take a breath or two more. Good, and then release. And let's get into that left hip a little deeper if you like. So the left foot stays flexed. This is going to help protect the knee. And then we're going to lean forward any amount. Keep the chest broad, the spine long. Soften your jaw. Let's take 2 or 3 more breaths. Very nice. And then come on up. Release the foot. Notice left and right and left foot. Notice the sensation of your feet making contact with the floor. Then just check without changing anything. What areas of the foot feel lighter on the floor? What areas of the foot feel heavier on the floor? And then also, without changing anything, just check what is the position of your feet in relation to your thighs. Okay, we're going to now try to get our feet as parallel as we can. Technically, that would be the outer edges of the feet would be parallel. So it might feel like your toes are turned in a little bit. If this is crazy awkward, just split the difference. Ideally, just toes pointing forward. And I'd like you to have your heels just slightly behind your knees. Just slightly behind your knees. Feet parallel, thighs parallel. Palms will come together, and you're going to lean forward until you feel your glutes light up, and then sit back down. You've done this one a few times. This is the sit to stand, lean forward, and then sit back down. Those of you who've got lots of knee stuff going on, just keep doing this. And please don't use momentum, rather use strength, really inquiring, coming forward, and then sitting back. If you're feeling pretty good in your knees today, your feet, your ankles, I want you to press down and no handsies, stand up, and then sit back down, nice and slow, no handsies. Chairs back behind you, and sit. Let's do that once more. Leaning forward, standing up. We'll all stand up however we can. And then inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Fingertips can come to the floor, or if that's not reachable for you, you just go ahead and turn around. Fingertips to the seat, maybe elbows to the seat. Okay. And exhale, one more slow exhale, gaze at your knees. And then we'll all walk our hands up the thighs, up to the thighs, and inhale, extend the spine forward. And then exhale, go back to wherever you came from, fingertips touch into something. Gaze at the knees. Good, and then the next inhale, come on up, stand up, take your time. And top of the inhale, reach up overhead, and then palms together in front of your heart. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive. On the inhale, walk your hands up your legs, any amount. And half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Totally cool to let the knees bend. That's all right. And then on the inhale, stand up, reach up. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. And now take a moment. I'd like you to bring your gaze to something eye level on the horizon. And take a moment and just feel the weight of your body on your feet. We're going to shift the weight of our body into the left foot. Slowly lift the right heel. And then swing the right knee open, resting the heel on the inner ankle. Okay. If I'm starting here, the tendency sometimes is people grab a wall so that they could bring the leg up, but you're kind of losing the whole reason why we're doing this, and that's to build the strength in the leg, to build more stability in the ankle. So if the right toes are on the floor, cool, no problem. You're building strength. If you're wobbling, cool, no problem. You're building strength, right? Some of you might want to bring the foot up higher. Wherever you bring it, though, please bring it either above or below your knee. Pressing the foot into the inseam of the leg, wherever it is. And then, of course, if you're feeling a little spicy today, maybe reach the arms up overhead. You got about 2 more breaths. Keep your gaze on something on the horizon. And then release, mountain pose. Notice any difference in between the right and left foot. Okay, keep your awareness on the sole of your right foot as you shift now, second side, starting with ankle, heel to ankle, squeezing heel to ankle, ankle squeezes to heel. Feel the strength of the inner thigh. Lifting the sides of the waist up really long in the trunk. And feel your breath. Okay, so you find your variation of tree pose, whatever it is today. Welcome it. Glad it's here. Glad you're here. And keep breathing. And as you're resting your eyes on something on the horizon, not really looking at it, but rather just resting, that the gaze is soft. Got about 2 more breaths wherever you are. Start wherever you are. And then release. Arms alongside the body. Okay, so let's turn around, face the chair. You're gonna have, have the seat of the chair facing you. And at least the front 2 legs of the chair will be on the mat. Bring both hands to the seat of the chair, and let's take a chair dog. Walk the feet back. And so now your hips are over your heels. Feeling the breath. And here, paying attention. What part of your feet is carrying the bulk of the load of your weight right now? And what would it be like if you spread the weight around on the feet? So equal weight in heels, balls of the feet, all 4 corners of the feet, and let those knees bend. That's totally fine if you need to bend the knees. And some of you who have really tight hamstrings, you will need to bend the knees so it doesn't become like kind of a low back rounding excessively situation. Exhale completely. And then walking forward, come about halfway forward. And we're going to, we're going to lift slowly the left leg, any amount, and then slowly lower the left leg, okay? And slowly lifting. Now, if you're putting a lot of weight in your hands, don't. See if you can just use the back of the chair just to steady yourself. And what I'm interested in is, can we create some heat in our standing leg? So we're slowly lowering the left leg and slowly lifting. Okay, and keeping the hips level. Okay, if you're doing the left hips lifting, not so interested in that. Rather, keep the hips level so we can start to really feel that burning. And then left leg lifts any amount, and I'd like you to try to make circles with the left leg without moving the rest of the body. Okay. So if you need to get closer to the chair, just so you don't feel like you have to put so much weight on your hands, please do. Go the other direction with the circles. Are we feeling sensation in the right hip? Hope so. I am. Okay. And then from here, we're going to just step the left foot about halfway back, turning into Parshvottanasana, so pyramid pose. The back toes are turned out a little bit. Your feet are hips width distance apart. And then walking the hands forward as you melt your heart towards your right thigh. Let your knees stay in little micro bends. It's a little micro bend of a knee, so not locking that knee, extending the hips back. And on an inhale, stay just as you are, but inhale, lift your chest halfway, just like we did earlier. Extend the spine. And then exhale, maybe come down a little bit further. How far you're down you come doesn't matter, but what does matter, are you breathing? And are you aware of the weight in the front foot? So where are you placing the weight? If you tend to roll to the outside foot edge of the foot or the inside edge, can you counter that and really make it an equal weight in both feet? You've got this support of the earth underneath you and really utilizing the support of the earth. Good. Go ahead and step the left foot forward. And we'll do the second side. Slowly lifting and lowering the right leg. Okay. You know, be on your fingertips if the wrists are feeling sensitive. Watch that right hip doesn't travel towards the ceiling. You want to keep the hips level. Doesn't matter how high that leg gets. What matters is, can you do this leg lift without moving the rest of your body, right? Can you keep breathing? And then let's lift it any amount and start to circle the right leg. Circling the right leg, breathing into the sensations that we feel in that left leg, all the strength that this left leg has to hold the weight of our body. Maybe you notice your ankle is kind of rocking or shaking. That ankle is gaining strength. Go the other direction with your circles. Feel the breath. And then step the right foot back. Parshvottanasana or pyramid pose. Set it up. Back toes turn out slightly. Front toes are pointing forward. Equal weight in all four corners of the front foot as you melt your heart towards that thigh. And if you have really tight hamstrings, you're probably going to need to bend the left thigh maybe a little bit more, but please avoid locking your knees in this posture. And so yoga, what's so beautiful about yoga, one of the many things, is it's like this marriage of opposing opposites. So we're yoking together, we're pushing down into the earth with our feet, particularly our left foot. We're really rooting down, using the support of the earth, pushing into it. And from there, we're reaching our hips away from the left foot. So then we get this lovely stretch in between. It's this rooting and this rising. Breathing through it all. On your next inhale, stay just as you are, but come up, lift the chest a little bit, extend your spine forward, elongate the spine, and then exhale, hinge from your hips, maybe come a little further forward towards the thighs. Exhale completely. Step your right foot forward. Slowly come up to stand, mountain pose. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Palms together, exhale, hands together in front of heart. Feel your breath. Shift the weight into your right foot. Come back into tree pose, any variation of tree. Bending that left knee. Good. And then from here, balancing, step the left foot back behind you and open up towards the long edge of your mat. So we're going to come up into a variation of triangle pose. Right toes are turning towards the top of the mat, left toes slightly turning out, and you're on like a tightrope here. So the feet are lined up. You'll notice mine is like a baby one. I encourage you to do a little baby triangle situation because I'm going to make it a little challenging. So hands on hips. On an exhale, keep a slight micro bend in your right knee and dip your right shoulder towards your right thigh. On the inhale, come on back up. Exhale, slowly lowering down in your mouth, building this strength. Inhale, coming back up. Coming back down on your exhale, and then you'll pause here. pressing the feet down into the floor, tummy's in, reaching your heart away from your hips. And then fingertips just tickling the seat of the chair. And maybe the left hand stays here. If you got a lot of shoulder stuff, you could also extend the left arm up towards the sky. Gaze forward for starts. And in this posture, imagine you've got that roll behind your back. Your heart is open. Check that the shoulder is right over the thigh. So don't care about how close you get your fingertips to the floor. More care about, is your heart open? Are you breathing? Are you connecting your feet to the floor? Maybe if it feels pleasurable, you could start to turn your head towards the ceiling, or maybe you just keep gazing forward. Let's take one more breath. And then bend your right knee. Come on up. Pivot towards the chair. And you're going to come into a high lunge. The front knee bends, the back heels up. So some of you might find that you need to just hold onto the chair here as you do this. That's totally fine. You might still feel a stretch in the front of the left hip. If you can, bring your hands to your hips and come up any amount. And just like when we were doing a pelvic tilt and we tilted as we were sitting on the chair, we had the front of our pelvis lifted towards our face. I'd like you to slightly do that here. If this just feels too shaky, you feel like you can't balance here, make it a warrior one. Just land that back heel, totally fine. Could be a little baby warrior one. And then either bring the palms together in front of your heart for 2 more breaths or reach the arms up overhead. Low belly in, front of the pelvis slightly lifting towards the face. And once again, imagine you've got that roll behind your heart, just like we did at the beginning of class. Feet pressing into the floor. Good, and then go ahead and step forward. Mountain pose, palms together, notice. Good, eyes on the horizon, tree pose, second side, weight in the left foot, bending right knee, finding your tree pose, lifting the heart, and then stepping right foot back. Prepare for triangle pose. Let me just switch sides so I'm not facing opposite side. So here you step the right foot back. Okay, little baby triangle pose, set it up. You're on a tight rope. Hands to hips. On an exhale, leaning left shoulder towards left thigh. Inhale, come on up. Twice more. Please avoid locking the knees. Okay, and then you pause here. One breath, inhaling, reaching the heart away from the navel. And then as you exhale, fingertips to the seat of the chair. Maybe right hand stays to hips. Maybe right arm up towards the sky. Leaning the head back, open in heart. Press the feet down into the floor so you've got your rooting, you've got your rising. Maybe you'd like to turn your head to the right a little bit. Take about 1 or 2 more breaths here. Very nice. Come on up. Bend that left knee. Pivot towards the seat of the chair. Either come into that high lunge. Check it out. The front knee bends, the back heel's up. Or maybe warrior one with the heel down is a better fit for you. So square the hips towards the chair. Front of the pelvis slightly lifts towards the face as you hollow out the low belly. And then the palms can come towards the heart, or maybe you reach the arms overhead. Again, the back heel can be up or down, but just make sure that your feet are about hips width distance apart, so you're not on a tightrope for this one. You're breathing and feeling the quality of rooting down through the feet so you can rise up. The legs, the strength of the legs, supporting this spacious, energetic rising up out, away from the planet, away from the floor. Good, and then we're gonna move into a chair dog. Go ahead, place the hands on the chair, step back, exhale completely. Nice, slow, full inhalation. A few more breaths here. Good, go ahead and walk forward. You can move your chair aside. We'll come onto the mat, have a seat. Extend your left leg long and bend your right knee so that the right foot is on the mat. Okay. Now, how close you bring that heel to the groin just depends on how much you're rounded. And in fact, actually, I encourage you to take your blanket and just have a seat on it. We're going to move into a twist. It's going to help you out to get a little bit longer in the spine. So hug that shin in. And then with an exhale, you're going to wrap your left arm around the right knee, right fingertips back behind you, and twist. Couple breaths here. With your next inhale, slowly untwist. And let's switch it out. Left foot to the mat. Lift the heart. And with an exhale, take your twist. Couple more breaths here. So here we're rooting down through the sits bones. We're rising up through the heart, the crown of the head. Last exhale. And the inhale to untwist. Okay, go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together, cobbler's pose, and folding forward if that feels nice, or sitting tall. Couple breaths. Two more breaths. And then come on up. Let's come on to our backs. Moving into Shavasana, go ahead and extend your legs. If it would feel good for your low back, place a blanket or some blocks underneath the backs of the knees. Find a relaxation pose that feels good to you. Backs of the hands will come to the mat. Walk the shoulder blades flat. And then closing the eyes, breathing deep. So paying attention to the areas of the body that are touching the floor. And on your next exhale, imagine the front body could melt to the back body. The front body melts to the back body melts into the support of the floor. This is your opportunity to completely relax, completely let go for the next 8 breaths or so.
If you can stay longer in Shavasana and would like to, please do. If you need to move on with the rest of your day, wiggle your fingers and toes. Exhale completely. With an inhale, get a big morning stretch in. Big, nice and long stretch. And then slowly drawing the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. Rolling to one side and coming up to a comfortable seat. We'll bring our palms together in front of our heart. Just feeling the support underneath you, the support of this planet. I invite you to reach into your heart and just think of all the ways that you're supported. Maybe the people who are supportive to you, the nourishing food that you can eat, the sunshine that's available outside. What is supportive and nourishing to you? And really take it in. Rejoice in all that's available for you around support and nourishment, safety. And if you'd like to dedicate the benefits of your practice to someone or someone special, maybe send them some nourishment, safety, support. We'll send it out with an exhale. So just gather up all the goodness with a big inhale and send it out to this being. See them feeling good, supported, safe. Thank you so much for your practice. Namaste.